Well, welcome to episode 2 of our vlog post. It's been a couple of days and we released a video on Docker in LXC thanks to the feedback from some of you that our older video no longer contained the right information. And that video's been wildly successful. It's kind of inspired me to look more into Docker, along with some of my own problems that we discussed in the last vlog post with getting PHP to work in the Docker container. I've learned quite a bit more about Docker, and actually that we don't want to run PHP and NGINX or Nginx inside the same Docker container. I didn't make much headway on this project today, although I hit it pretty strong due to some other problems. My old trusty RX3000 Asus router here let out the magic blue smoke quite literally today. I don't know if we had a power surge or whatnot, but the wife and I were both on. I had started doing some research into using Docker Compose and trying to figure out best practices for Docker for setting up those multiple containers. As always, I've discussed with you guys that I'm here learning with you, and we're here just to share what we learn and teach about. So with that, we had to pivot and change up some of the hardware. I had to get my wife back online because she works from home. And right now, with me not working, she's providing our sole income into our house. So in order to pay our bills, I had to get her back online as quickly as I could. So luckily, I had purchased some hardware that I hadn't fully implemented into the house because I wanted to add a bunch of VLANs and other stuff, sort of like we have at the Freedom House, to segregate traffic. Now, I use pfSense up there, but I had wanted to try the same lineup as the EAP, the TP-Link EAP225 that I absolutely love, that a viewer suggested probably a year ago now. So I'll switch over to my desktop and kind of show you a little bit of that hardware here that we're looking at and the desktop environment. So here's the desktop environment for the ER605, which here, if we switch over to the Amazon view, or that's not the Amazon view, this is the Amazon view, and take a look at this tab over here, is the router that I purchased. Now, this is supposed to provide some failover capability along with VLAN support and VPN support. Now, as far as I can tell, that VPN support is an outgoing server, so you can connect like multiple connections together, or maybe even connect to a VPN client. So all of your house's traffic goes through that. If you have a subscription to like private internet access, or I don't know many of them. I love my VPNs and I use a VPN when I travel, but I choose to self-host. And I know there's some, if you believe their media hype, there are some necessarily reasons why you don't want to do that. But I definitely agree with traveling. You should always have a VPN to protect your data, especially if you're on Wi-Fi hotspots or different Wi-Fi connections and trying to do stuff that you want to keep private. As far as your home data, I mean, if you're trying to hide your home data, maybe you want to look at a service like Tor or something. VPNs, all they do is really move your location, and then you have to trust that they're not keeping logs. And because if you were trying to hide things and they kept logs, then all that has to happen is your logs have to be audited. Maybe a VPN with Tor or something might be a better choice. I'm not getting into that. That's my personal choice, is when I'm at home not to use a VPN, but if I'm traveling, I use one that connects me back to my house. It allows me to get all my files and other things that I like to use on a daily basis when I'm at my house. Anyways, enough with that. Back to this device. It has essentially 4 ports. Port 1 is configured out of the box as a LAN port and a USB port. I haven't played much with the USB, but I'm kind of interested in seeing if I can do some TTL mangling with this device and maybe use a cell phone hotspot as a failover backup. Not as important here at this house that we refer to as the Golf House, but when we're at the Freedom House, it could be quite important as the internet service up there is spotty at best, I guess you would say. A lot of people use Starlink, and Starlink's great in a lot of cases. I don't necessarily care for the lag. I have a really good plan with the ISP in the area, but it do often see failures, 1, 2 times a month, maybe probably as high as 4 times a month. So, probably averaging out to once a week. We have bad weeks, and then we'll have 2 or 3 good weeks, and then we'll have another bad week. We're waiting for fiber to be put in the area, and that is coming soon. We've formed a whole team to do that in the towns and merge together another ramp for local politics that I'll share as it goes on. I've wanted to get involved, but up until now, didn't really have time to get involved in it. Kind of excited about it, though. Anyways, I'd like to use my cell phone service. We do get 5G there as maybe like a failover connection or something where we can plug our cell phone in and just turn on the hotspot if it goes down with my wife working and providing our sole income. That would be definitely beneficial. I hate to have her miss any time at work that she doesn't have to. Obviously, she's salaried, but still, I just hate to see that happen. But yeah, so that's the new device. I set it up fairly quickly. I really like the price point when compared to PFSense. Ultimately, time's going to really tell whether the price point is of value compared to PFSense. PFSense box that matches this spec is about $200. I think I saw it 180 the last time I looked. I felt a little more comfortable communicating with PFSense and setting it up, but I think that was more just because I had been in there. It was quite straightforward. I had to do a couple of searches and read a little bit of the manual for a couple of things, but not really very confusing. And when we pair it with the EAP225 here, or even some of the faster equivalents like this AX1800 or the AX5400, it still stays a pretty good value when you buy the router. But for me, at the AC 1350 that the EAP225 here offers, it's a really good value. So you're into this for about $120 total for a router Wi-Fi combination that supports VLANs. It supports traffic shaping. I mean, most of your even home units support traffic shaping, but the big thing is multiple VLANs and virtual Wi-Fi connections out of the box. And they even have some monitoring software now. Their out-of-the-box monitoring solution they sell in a box. I think it's like another $50. But I did read you could set that up on Linux, and I planned on hosting that on Proxmox. I haven't tried it yet, and now that this router's in place here at the Golf House, I'll probably try it fairly soon because I have a lot of interest in this. And if this works, I do plan on upgrading the SG1000 that's at the Freedom House over to this and having basically both set up similar and kind of VPN'd together so that I can monitor everything and watch it even no matter which house I'm in. And I hope that'll also provide some capabilities for some storage. I'd really like to duplicate storage between these two houses, so I had a backup of what was in one house at the other house type of thing if there was ever an emergency. But with that spent most of my day, other than some errands I had to run. I'm doing a lot of errands and the stuff that my wife used to do so that my wife can maintain more working hours, obviously, with me not working here at this time. Been doing a lot of research into Fiverr and freelancing in general for server setup and even some web development work, which I enjoy a lot, to supplement. I'm hoping YouTube will fill in a little bit here. It doesn't pay well right now. It basically pays enough that I can buy hardware. So we'll see if that ever happens. But I do want to thank all of you guys for all the support and hardware you've helped. And I hope you've gained a lot from learning and enjoy kind of hearing about, I guess, what I'm calling Project Freedom, but that's kind of just a joke word that we do. But basically going out on my own and working for myself. And that's what this vlog's about, is not my day-to-day life, but a couple times a week of just kind of talking about what I'm doing as I go out on myself and move away. Obviously, this is less scary for me than some it might be for some of you, with my wife being able to provide all of the income we need with the combination of the rental units that I maintain. So, which also takes up about 20 hours a week. So, there's that. Anyways, if I close this window out and I can bring up my TP-Link screen here, and you can really see that my wife's in meetings right now. I know she's in a Zoom meeting at the moment, and you can really see that she's not taxing this unit at all. It's been up for 2 hours today, and I have been able to set up multiple different setups and really work with it fairly well. So if we go over to my LAN, you can see I actually have some VLANs set up with some different things. I was able to set up firewall access control lists. Now, out of the box, something that pfSense does is it basically blocks all traffic to other LAN ports as you set up VLANs, and you have to go in and create the rules. Well, this unit kind of worked in reverse, where if you created a VLAN, all traffic was allowed to go everywhere until you made a rule that it wouldn't. So that's what all of these rules do, is they kind of just block the traffic from moving from VLAN to VLAN. But it was pretty easy to figure out. I kind of had to just look at the directions a little bit. There's some anti-ARP spoofing stuff, which I need to look into a little bit more here. I haven't had a lot of time. I don't want to have this unit drop all. It's during the workday, and I'll probably look into more of this tonight. And there's all kinds of attack defense, MAC filtering. Here's some of the VPN stuff here, OpenVPN, IPsec, PPTP, these are all your popular ones. Client tunnel, so it does look here as I just open this up like we may actually be able to set up a VPN server on this, which might actually be kind of nice. Yeah, there's the server right here. So definitely something I want to look a little bit more into. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of time. I don't want to have this device shut down while my wife's working. She's depending on it right now. System tools, different things like that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video today and maybe found some nice information about how I'm setting up my network and maybe a budget setup that might work for you. The Wi-Fi speeds are a little bit slower than what some people like. Really depends on what you're doing. Most of my Wi-Fi work is not large file transfers, and even when I'm running SCP from my laptop to my Proxmox server, I don't notice it, but it's all small text documents that all run quite quickly, like Docker files and config files and stuff that I'll generate with Atom on my laptop and then push up to the server and build there. I do have some more stuff coming out with the Docker that will be coming out in the next couple of days as I learn more about it and integrate that into what I'm learning about web development. Definitely enjoying a lot of the web development. I always did as I coded. I'm learning some more about it and learning some of the best practices and things like that I might not have known as I was doing things around the house for myself. Almost nothing I built ever went on the internet. It was more intended to, be a service at the house, whether it was a server to like a Python program with a web interface to interface maybe with an IoT device, or temperature control, or even some tools. Like I had tools developed that were developed for trig and stuff that I did at work, or quick hole programming and stuff with Python. And I built them with web interfaces, so I just could quickly communicate with them, and they weren't necessarily affecting my operating system. It also made it nice for me when I was doing that to interface with a graphical user interface, and the web interface was definitely a lot easier for me to do that and build that with than a GUI. And I know Python supports GUIs. I haven't learned that, and I just felt more comfortable when I was doing that stuff and trying to do it quickly, for work because I was building those tools between cycle times and stuff when I was working as a machinist that just to do it with a web interface and do it quickly. Anyways, with that, I think we'll conclude this video, and I hope you enjoyed today's vlog post, episode 2, on updates of my project towards working for myself and hopefully being self-sufficient and not relying on my wife's income to pay our bills like we are now, but going out and going into business myself. It's definitely a journey a lot of people wish they take and always dream about taking, but never totally feel confident or feel like they have skills. And I'm definitely one of those people that never felt like I had skills, but my wife kind of talked me into it. She supported me wholly and fully when we made the decision. She was definitely a leading force here and pushing me to go this route and really follow what I enjoy and try to find some happiness. For many years after college being a machinist, I definitely provided the income and built our family really well and built us strong. Not saying she didn't. In the last couple of years, she's made a lot more money than I have, if you didn't count our rental business, which I maintain, but all the work I did definitely helped build all of that with her income at that point. So definitely am leaning on her hard right now, but I'm grateful to have her. She's definitely a big member for me. She's my right-hand man and everything I care about. Not to get sappy, but she's definitely been a lot for me. So anyways, let's end this off. Have a good day, and I hope you enjoy the update. Bye.